Hello and good afternoon, good morning, good evening if it is evening where you are joining me from. This is Growth Habits with Ngozi, and I am your personal guide on the journey of growth. As I always say, and it is the fact, it is the truth, I don't just lead you on this journey of growth. I go right along with you on the journey. So, who is here with me today? I am so excited for our guest today. I'm so excited to share with us and to have her share with us her journey of growth. So we started this series we are calling Growth Chronicles, and it's just a series where people come and they tell us their stories of growth. They tell us the journey that they have had, how they have grown in different aspects of life, whatever part of life that they have experienced growth. We started with me sharing my own personal journey of growth. I shared journey of growth in work, my place of work. I even shared in my family. And the next week, we brought on Chinwendu, and she shared her Chinwendu Abia, and she shared her own journey of growth. And I remember that her story was quite touching and quite fantastic, actually, because she's the founder of Hope by Grace, and she runs a program she calls Graced Girls. And I remember that she said when she started that program, that Graced Girls, that she was living in a classroom. I cannot forget that. That still keeps ringing in my head, that someone that is, she doesn't have accommodation at that moment, she could have said, okay, I can't do this. I'm not in a position to do this. But she went right ahead because she was sure she had God and that God had told her to go. And she told us something profound that day. She said, God will meet you on the way. Just begin the journey. God will meet you on the way. Just 1 minute. I just want to confirm that I am being heard, because sometimes you just take off and be talking, you won't know that there's nobody hearing you. So I just want to log into Facebook on my laptop so that I can confirm that I am being heard. Okay, so it's still not all right. Let's see. Let's be sure that we're not talking to ourselves this afternoon. Okay, let's just confirm that I'm talking to people and that people can hear. All right, that's good. So yes, it's clear that I am being heard. So as I said, that first of the second session on this Growth Chronicles, like I said, just people coming and telling their stories. There is, just telling it as it is, how it happened to them, what they experienced, what they learned. Those are the things. And Chinwendu told us about how she had a good support system and how important it is to have a support system. Because if you don't have a good support system, honestly, no matter how lofty your plans, you will not be able to do much. Okay, our guest is here. Just give me a few minutes. Let me finish this. Let me just finish this recap. Then I will bring you on. Just give me like 2-3 minutes. All right. So our next session, we had Helen Joe Atta, and yeah, she's a lawyer. She's a minister, she's a wife, and she's a digital entrepreneur. And she also told us her own journey of growth. She explained to us, how she founded her academy, how she came about the 31 lifestyle. And, even in the midst of some life difficulties, she was able to stand. She was able to embrace her journey, because that was one thing she said. She said, life is a journey. Embrace your journey. Embrace your own journey. Forget about the other person's own. Embrace your journey. Start with what you have. These were some of the things that she said. And she also said that every season is important. Every single season. There is no season that we go through in life that is not important. So every single season is important. And today we have my sister, my friend, my, what else do I call her? I don't even know. Let me read her profile. Let me read her profile so that you will know that the person that is here today is not a mean person. Today we have Tare Dite-Ojoko, and she's called to enrich and strengthen marriages and families. She's passionate about seeing marriages thrive and relationships fruitful. Terry believes that marriage is God's idea and can be enjoyed as God intended it. I can testify to this. I can testify. For Terry, family is the incubator for children to be nurtured and released to make the world a better place. She's an incurable romantic who believes that a marriage union can have sustained passion all through its lifetime. Yes, yes. Tare is a trained lawyer, the second lawyer we are having, of over 22 years post-call. So she's not a small lawyer. She's not charge and bail either. She is also a graduate of the prestigious Kenneth Hagin Rhema Bible Training School. She's a certified clinical and pastoral counselor with the Institute of Counseling, Glasgow, Scotland, not local one, Glasgow, Scotland. I think you're hearing. Tara is a facilitator at the Wisdom Driven Marriage Academy, where she teaches on sex and sexuality. She's the CEO of Boundless Love Services. Tara runs a debt recovery firm with her husband. She serves as the service group head, Family Life Service Group at her local assembly. Tara is the author of the books Sex on the Couch, 10 Things I Wasn't Told About Marriage, Diary of an Imperfect Parent, and How to Have Mind-Blowing Orgasms. She's married to barrister Emeka Ojoko, and they are blessed with 2 children, Tonte and Nengi. Oh, yes. See, the first day, let me just tell us something. The first day I heard this woman talk, I was like this. I was like, oh my God, what is she saying? Because she says it as it is. There is no if, ands, or buts. There is no covering of anything. You know, in the church, we are used to covering things that have to do with sex. It's normal for us. We cover, we pretend as if we don't even know what it's all about. Yet we are doing it every day with our husband, but we do as if we don't know what it is. But this, my sister, she will tell you everything as it is. She had one program that I had so many young ladies I wanted to invite for that program, but they are all members of my church. And honestly, I struggled. I need to tell you the truth. I struggled and struggled. How do I present this? So I sent them the invite. I had to now call each of them one by one. I say, please, just listen with open hearts. Don't just open your heart, not your ear only, and just listen to what she has to say. Forget about how raw she may be. So I had to prepare their mind before they joined the class. So join me and welcome Tare Dite-Ojoko as she shares with us her journey of growth. So Tare, go on.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you. I hope you can hear me. Thank you for having me here. It's such a pleasure and honor. Where do I start from about my growth path and my growth journey? Let me just start from somewhere. When I was, I had given birth to my last child. I didn't start having children early. I waited 6 years into my marriage before I had my first child. And then I was pregnant for my second, I think, yes, it was my second. And I had my second after I had turned 40. At least I was pregnant with my second, then I turned 40. And I'd given birth to him. So one of those days, I was just breastfeeding. No, I was pumping the milk out so that I could go to work, because at that time I was still working in the bank. And I heard my husband playing. Of course, there had been this agitation in my heart. I've been posting whenever I subscribed to marriage websites. It was even my husband that introduced me to the first one. I knew that I've always talked to people about having better marriages, but I never really knew that was my core, my primary assignment. But as time went on, I began to notice that was my area. But this particular day, it was in the morning, I was preparing to go to work, and I was pumping breast milk to drop for my son. and I heard my husband listening to somebody, a motivational speaker, in the bathroom, because that's where he does his quiet time and everything. And for the first time, I heard Les Brown. For those of us who listen to all these speakers, you know that Les Brown is big worldwide. It's like to Anthony Robbins.
Yeah.
So I heard him playing a particular a clip of Les Brown, and it charged my head. It was as if my head was busting into several places. My heart was set on fire, and it was as if that was the dawning, the aha moment of my life, where I told myself that you can't be doing what you have been doing in the slow and steady manner you have been doing it. You've got to run with the urgency of destiny. I told myself I had to run with the urgency of destiny. So that was the shoot. That was the let me say, it was the push into the trajectory of my destiny, and that was how I started. And of course, in the course of discovering that this is my core, I needed to have a plan. Because it's not just to realize that this is your area, I needed to have a plan. I needed to have a plan for my growth. I needed to have a plan for my impact. I needed to have a plan for my influence, because I knew I wasn't just going to be in one small corner. I am still stretching. I'm not there yet, but I know I've come a long way from about, let me say, about 8 years ago when I started this journey. Of course, people had met people along the line that have pushed me, like they were like my midwives, and I can't fail to call Pastor Favor with Osiri wisdom. So she's like a midwife who has pushed me to becoming more of the woman that God has created me to be. So from being a lawyer, I left law, went into banking, left banking, because those were not of course, those were just my trainings, but the core assignment, that if I don't have to make money any day, I will still do, is what I'm doing now. Talking to marriages, people, couples, coaching, pushing, preaching, impacting, married couples especially, and then relationships on the side. So this question, so that I could actually go more into my journey so far. And you see, one of the things that a midwife will do for you is to help you push the babies that you're carrying. That's one of the things that a midwife will do for you. And sometimes too, it takes an older, let me just use the word older, or somebody who sees that you are pregnant. You know, sometimes when a young girl is pregnant, a young wife, and then she's not had experience about it, sometimes she has not even done tests, but an older woman will look at her and say, you are pregnant, before she gets a confirmation. So that's what people in my life, especially Pastor Viva, has done in my life. She saw that I was pregnant. But when I didn't know that I was going to write a book, she saw books inside of me. And then with the push and all, I started writing. And today I'm an author of about 5 books, with more still coming. Of course, part of my growth process, because I knew I needed to give authenticity and credibility to what I was doing. Because it's very important that you come across as credible in what you're doing. So apart from the informal learning, I had to undergo formal training so that I could help more people. And that was when I became certified in counseling. And I still have another one I'm running too. So whatever you're doing in your growth, when you identify your area, create a plan. When you identify a particular area you want to focus on, create a plan. Part of that plan should be your personal development. Then look for a midwife. You can call her a mentor, or call him a mentor or a coach, but you need a midwife that would help you see that thing that you're carrying, and that will give you clarity and help you to push forth the thing you're carrying. Then another thing I would also say on your journey, on your growth journey, look for opportunities that will stretch your abilities. Look for opportunities that you can deploy your potentials, because potentials are latent and hidden power. Until they are deployed, they are useless. Until your potentials are deployed, they are useless. They are sleeping power, as it were. So you have to put pressure. You have to do something for them, for your potentials to come out. And so you look for opportunities that will stretch you. Don't run away from responsibilities. Oh, I can say this again for free. Don't run away from, especially if you're in an organization or a church setting. Thank God for church settings. They give us opportunities to grow, to learn, to take on responsibilities that some of us are younger. Like when I was made the head of the family life service group in my church, it was a controversial thing. But my pastor saw it and said, this I must be the head. As at that time, I was just only how many years in marriage. The one who was heading that unit before had been married for like almost 30 years at the time. And look at this small girl coming from nowhere. But because he could see that this was my assignment, this was my call, there was passion inside of me. It was like fire shut up in my bones, that everything I did and talked about was about marriage and relationship. He couldn't help it but say, give it to her. And God has helped me and proven to the people that indeed it was not by accident. It was programmed by God for me to head it. Because truly speaking, in all humility, I have been able with my team to change the story entirely, change the narrative, and gone beyond what the family life service group initially was. And by God's grace, for the first time, we usually hold every month, they call it prophetic impartation in my church, the first 3 days, and we have guest ministers. And I tell you for free, no pastor in my church, I'm a young pastor. I was just made a pastor 2 years ago. Are you sure it's even up to 2 years? No, 1 year plus. 1 year plus. And for the first time, no, I was just thinking about it a few days ago. I said, not even my husband, that is the resident pastor, has ever done this. But do you know that I am the guest speaker for this heavy program? I am taking the second day, and my church is huge, it's large. So I know that it is God that has helped, but I've really grown. I won't say I won't mince words about that. I've taken on opportunities that I take with fear. You know, when you're trembling with fear, they say do it afraid. You're stepping out, and you know, for those of us who are Christians, that if God does not help you, you will just fall flat on your face. Flat on your face. And so I've stepped out and I've taken responsibilities bigger than, in quote, my perceived abilities and competences. And then I've grown to match the office. Because that's one thing. When you are given a responsibility, you've got to grow to match and even go beyond that office, that responsibility, so that new opportunities can open for you. And then one of the things that have also helped me on my journey is that I've always prayed about being prepared in advance for opportunities. Being prepared in advance for opportunities. Like I always say to God, sorry for those of you who are going to be watching later, you can say she's calling God up and that, but that's my whole life is about him anyway. So I've always said that I don't want to fall, in quotes, in our local parlance. Lord, I don't want to fall your hand. I don't want to fall your hand. So I keep saying, let me be prepared for the opportunities he will bring to me so that I don't embarrass him. So in your growth journey, you must learn to prepare for opportunities before they show up. Opportunities before they show up. A few years ago, when I was in practice, I was in active practice before I joined the bank. When I was in practice, nobody knew me as a practicing lawyer. I never had an opportunity to appear before lawyers to do anything other than in court. But do you know that as I began to run this race of my personal growth and impact, as I began and I created a niche in the area of marriage, in particularly in sexual matters and intimacy, as I began to pursue the development of my life in this area, I got the attention of lawyers. I got the attention of Rotarians. So much so that for the first time in the entire history of the Nigerian Bar Association in Nigeria, the national body, they created a plenary session, a panel session, and one of the things to be handled in that session was on like sexual health. Sexual health. They just try to couch it in a way They tried to catch it in a way so that it will still be prim and proper and ethical for lawyers. You know, lawyers are conservative.
Yeah.
And then guess what? Who was the speaker? Who was the panelist? Yours truly.
Yeah.
Yours truly. So I was on an international stage to speak to lawyers, not as a lawyer, not as a
Mm-hmm.
lawyer, but as a love coach and sex apostle. And let me tell you, men and brethren, it was awesome. It
Mm.
was awesome. When people heard I was a lawyer, they were like, "What? What?" It was awesome. And of course, after then, I had to go to Lagos, and I spoke at the Redeem. All the lawyers in Redeem, the legal officers in Redeem Church, at the Redemption at the camp in Lagos. I went there to speak to them. They flew me into Lagos and all of that. This is what growth has done in my life. Then, of course, Rotary, when they do their district, their district conference comprises of like several states in the South, and I've been there like twice to talk about this particular area. So you see, your gifts and your growth, of course, will make room for you. Your
Yeah.
gifts and your growth will make room for you. I tell you, people, if I wasn't growing myself, if I was just working in the bank as I used to, nobody would know me beyond there.
True.
But
True.
today, because I have pursued the dreams that God has laid upon my heart, because God has helped me to be consistent. But let me tell you, so that you don't think that, oh, she doesn't have a challenges. Oh, let me tell you, there are so many days I don't want to get up from the bed. There are so many days I don't want to post. There are so many days I don't want to do something about my gift. And some of those days I fail, I don't stand up, and I beat myself later. But you see, in spite of my weaknesses, I still push. In spite of I'm not there yet. Oh, I would love to be on more platforms, and I know I will be on more platforms because I am not relenting. I am not relenting. But don't say that, oh, she's having it easy. No. It's just that in spite of the way we feel, in spite of the things happening around us, in spite of the fact that sometimes we don't see the kind of results we want to see, we keep pushing, knowing that lives are dependent upon us rising and living
Exactly.
our destinies out. I keep telling people, if I don't arise, people's destinies may go down. So if as you're on your growth journey, anytime you don't want to do anything again, or you post and nobody likes your comment or your post, or nobody reacts or engages with you, don't give up.
Exactly.
Don't give up. People are lined up waiting for you to arise so that they can. It's in your light they will see light.
Mm.
Oh, in your light, they will see light. So if your light does not come on, others will continue to walk in darkness. Was it not the Bible that says, I think it was talking about Naphtali or so, a great light has a reason. So if your light does not shine, many will not see light. And
Exactly.
one of the things that gives me the greatest joy when I sleep at night is that somebody is thanking God on my behalf.
Mm.
Somebody is grateful that I came into the world. Somebody is grateful that I'm living my life according to the terms of the Lord, why He called me.
Yes.
So somebody will thank God every day. So that's one of the driving forces. Who is going to thank God for you every night as they go to sleep? That's a question you should ask yourself. Oh, because one of the greatest joy of living and growing and becoming is that your life is a blessing to many more, and your life is impacting many more lives.
Yes.
So let me just hold it for
Wow.
now and
Wow.
allow Auntie God to say one of the things.
Wow, wow, wow. See, there's some things you said that they just resonate with me because I have seen them also in my own life. No, you mentioned running with urgency of destiny. No, it's at times it's almost like if you don't do this, something will go wrong. We know nothing will go wrong per se, but it's like I have to do it. I just have to. You also mentioned being consistent even when you don't want to. Somebody asked me, that's like I think last month or 2 months ago, now how do I every Tuesday I'm doing my live. Every Monday I'm posting one inspirational thing. On Thursday I'm releasing those my short. Why do I keep doing it? That sometimes they look at the post and maybe there's just 2 likes, 3 likes. I said I'm not doing it for the likes. The likes are not
Exactly.
even Don't motivate me, honestly. What motivates me is like, okay, yesterday, let me just give us, yesterday, one young man I posted something yesterday, Monday. He sent me a message on WhatsApp. And by the time we discussed, the ending of that discussion is what makes me keep doing this thing. It's not about the
Wow.
life, it's not about any of, but even if nobody watches, but there's no way that there's nobody that's watching.
Watching.
Somebody is watching secretly and
Secret.
receiving something. So when
Yeah.
by the time I finished discussing with that young man, because yesterday was about turning your ideas into
Okay.
reality. Let them not just remain ideas in your head. So I just put there, share with me if you have any ideas in your head. And this young man sent me a message and mentioned an idea he had and the challenges he has been having with bringing it forth. By the time we discussed, barely a 30 minutes discussion, I just spoke from. And sometimes another thing is that some of the things I say, honestly, when I sit back later, I'm like, where did you get that from? How
Yeah.
did I even come to your head to say this thing to this person? When we
Yeah.
finished, he was like, thank you so much, man. He said, you have cleared my mental space. That was his exact words. His
That's
exact words. You have cleared my mental space.
that's
He
beautiful.
booked another, session, but this one he wants to see me live, face to face, and we'll continue the discussion. But it's because of those people.
Yeah.
If maybe I didn't post or I was not consistent, maybe he would never have gotten the clarity he got yesterday. It's very possible.
Exactly.
Maybe he will get it from somewhere else. But I
Exactly.
believe that there's a reason why he is on my own timeline. There's a
Yeah.
reason why he saw my post, not another person's post. So
Exactly.
yes, we do. We can't count likes, honestly, unless you're doing it for popularity.
Exactly.
But if what
Exactly.
you're doing it from passion, from a place of passion, a place of destiny, like you said, you don't count the likes. You
Mm.
know that lives are being changed. There's also another lady that called me one that was thanking me. In my head, I'm like, I don't know you well.
Mhm.
It's not as if I don't know. I know the person, but I don't know her well enough for her to be thanking me for something. No, I didn't do anything for her. I'm sure I didn't do anything. She now mentioned the particular episode of Growth Habit she watched and how
Wow.
that gingered her to start her business. I
Wow.
don't talk about business much. I read because I'm not a business person, so I try to not venture into the ones that can't give personal experiences
Yes.
of. But something I said gingered her and she started her business. And she's still doing that business till today. So that is why we do. That's what makes you wake up in the morning and begin to think, oh,
Exactly.
what do I post? What do I write?
Exactly.
What do I
Yeah.
do? So
Yeah.
really, truly, that you also talked about taking on opportunities,
Mm.
my father. Take
Mhm.
No matter how little it looks. Sometimes there's some things we do and you're like, why did I even bother? You can even say it's beneath you if you want to look
Mm.
at your person. Some of us have to
Yeah.
look at our person. You say, this is beneath me. But take on that opportunity.
Yeah.
The doors it will open tomorrow, you can never tell.
At
Just take
all.
it
At
on.
all. I
Then
agree.
finally, before I go back to you and ask you a question, see, I know if you have been watching Growth Habits, you have heard the name Pastor Faithful. You have heard that name how many times? You can see she is truly, truly, what's the word? I don't even know because she's more than a mentor. You can't just call her your mentor because she goes beyond mentoring you. She's that fire in your bum bum, as they say. She's that voice you hear at the back of your head that's telling you, go ahead, you can do this.
Yeah.
Don't worry, do it.
Mm.
Start, begin. When you begin, something will work out.
That's true.
So get yourself a Pastor Favor Siri Wisdom in your
Right.
life. It doesn't have to be her
Yeah.
particularly, but if you can get her, please do. But get yourself somebody that is on your side.
Mm.
That's the most important thing
That
about
would
Pastor Favor.
accept excuses.
Yes, she's on your side and you can't give her any excuse. You can't tell her I was busy. You
Uh,
can't tell her my children. You can't tell her my husband. You can't give her any excuse. She doesn't accept it. She doesn't accept it. You have to do the work.
yes.
I remember, I think there was one book that I remember the comments everybody made on the group the day I said I've not read the book of the month. Because normally me, I read my book early. I pulled an all-nighter. I did not sleep. I sleep because in the back of my head, what will I tell Pastor Favor that made me not to read this book of the month? What excuse will I give? None that will serve. So I didn't sleep in the night. I read my book of the month. So truly, get you somebody that is on your side. Even as they are mentoring you, even as they are pushing you, the person is on your side, and you know that they're on your side. Okay, so let me just ask. You mentioned you were a lawyer, you mentioned you were a banker, and now are you just the love doctor? Is that what all you're doing now? Because I know you as the love doctor, the apostle of love. Is that all you're doing? Is there something else you're doing?
Well,
Author, all those things.
everything I'm doing actually is like it's like an offshoot of being a marriage to relationship coach. It's like an offshoot. I do a lot of public speaking, so I talk even on matters that have nothing to do with marriage. But you see, that's the thing. Once you're able to find your core and you stretch and develop yourself, your core opens you up to other things. Your core opens you up to other things. So even being a marriage coach, I'm also an author. And then, of course, I write a lot. And then I speak. I speak a lot. I speak. So, but I do, maybe, I do small businesses on the side. I won't even really say I do small business because the major income, my major income come from my courses as well as the books and my counseling that I do. Yes, because the counseling are paid sessions. So in other words, I am eating from my passion. I am eating from my core. I am eating from. So when people tell you, how will this thing feed you? Part of your job, part of your growth is to find out how you can monetize that thing that you're doing. There's nothing you cannot monetize. There's no knowledge you cannot monetize. So I went through, I bought courses to learn how to, I follow people like Trisha Bees, because for me, I look at her as a monetization queen in Nigeria when it comes to knowledge. So I had to now find out, how do I monetize so that your gifts and your passion and your call, yes, beautiful, you're impacting lives, you don't become frustrated. Because if there's no commensurate income, something coming back, it's good to have the fulfillment that you're helping, but money is numbers. Numbers will always count. You measure in numbers. Numbers will always count. And so I started looking for ways that I can generate income from what I am doing, so that my job is sweet and it is profitable.
Yeah.
My job, I am not the type that when it's Monday, I'm scared to go to work. I enjoy what I am doing, and what I am doing is paying my bills, in addition to impacting lives. So I have both, let me say, is it both the economic and the social benefits from what I am doing? The social benefit, that lives are being impacted, and all of that. Then the economic benefit is that I'm getting something in return. But you're pursuing your dream. But let me tell you, don't be frustrated, and don't feel bad when it doesn't begin to pay from the beginning. It's a journey. It's a journey. Where I am now is a far cry from where I was. Before, I couldn't even be bold to ask for 10,000 naira per session, per hour. But now, people of God, you don't want to know my current rate. You don't want to know my current rate. Now I have developed it for. See, that's the thing about growth. Growth is that you keep evolving. Growth is that you keep tweaking. Growth is that, and as you're growing, see, your mental capacity is being enlarged. So when you didn't have boldness to ask for certain things, or you begin to have boldness to ask, where I was afraid to ask for 10K before, I could ask you for 200K now for 8 sessions of just 8 hours. So that's the boldness. And sometimes they can tell you, no, not to worry. Keep at it. Keep at what you're doing. Keep building your brand. Keep making yourself be the one, the go-to person on a particular or one or two or three subjects.
Yeah.
Let it be that when they think of who can help us in sexual intimacy, it is me that comes to their mind.
Exactly.
So you keep putting yourself out there, whether it is raining or whether it is shining, whether Nigeria is doing, you keep putting yourself out there until visibility is king. Visibility. If you see the paper behind me, there's a paper that is stuck on my wall. Let me read it out to you guys, because there was a challenge I enrolled at the beginning of the year, and this thing is still on my wall, because every day when I wake up I look at it. Let me read out. How do I get more people to notice and know about my business this year? Because let me tell you, yes, I'm into marriage, relationship, but it's a business too. I didn't come to count the card in Port Harcourt and Nigeria. So that thing is showing me, what do I need to do to make myself more visible? That every day somebody needs to know about me, know what I do. So that sometimes I can post like 3 times in a day. Sometimes I can post only once, but I must post. The only day that is my free day is Sunday. But I must write something. And do you know what I started doing? For those of you who are thinking of how you can also monetize and get more people to know that what you do, you charge. For almost all my posts, as I'm ending, I'm writing, I'm telling you, of course I say, because so that people can always remember that I'm the love doctor. So my sign off is, I'm the love doctor. I work with marriages I work with couples to create beautiful marriages. Or sometimes I can say, I'm the love doctor. I fight for the good of marriage. Please send a WhatsApp chat. I'll put a phone number. Send a WhatsApp chat for my counseling or coaching packages. Please note, this is a paid service. So that you don't come to my DM and be speaking all the language in Nigeria and telling me, well, I thought you want to help people. How come? It comes at a price. But I still do freemium, what they call freemium. I still do some free things for people. So sometimes I know that this person needs help and they don't have. So that's my benevolence part I would do for free. Then of course, if you're my local assembly, I do for free. Okay. But every other person, it comes with a fee. Even if you're so broke that you can't afford my fee, I tell you, you must buy a book. You can buy one of my ebooks for 3,000. So if you know that, because whatever you don't pay for, you really don't value many times. You don't really value. And then you're not committed to the process. So many times when you come for counseling, I tell you, no, one-off won't work, except you just want me to listen to you and just encourage you that period. Otherwise, I tell you, this is 2 weeks, 1 month, I think it will be, and then you pay upfront. Why? When your money is there, you must show up for the counseling sessions. When your money is there, you will show up. You will keep to time. And when I tell you it's 1 hour, your time begins to run. You will not go to Abakaliki and come back and go to Kafachan and come back when you're sharing your story. You will share your story knowing that the timer is on. The timer is on. So by the time you do all of it, that's why structure is important. So as you're doing your whatever, structure is important. And the people know upfront what your structure is, so that they don't take your time for granted. They don't come and spend especially when they are not paying. They can keep you 3 hours. 3 hours. And they are talking in your head, you're trying to decipher the issues so that you can help them.
True. This thing you said about structure and system, I think this is the bane of most businesses in Nigeria. Structure, systems. We're not ready. We're not interested. We just want to do things anyhow. You have to put a structure to whatever you're doing. Even that you're selling, have one small table in the front of your house and you're selling provision or whatever, have a system in place. Have a system, even if it's just simple Excel spreadsheet or just the exercise book that you used to record what you bought, how you sold it. Have a system in place. Structure things to an extent. You don't have to, structure it like the shells of the world, all those big companies that we know. No, do the little that you can at your level. Have some kind of structure. Somebody, one of my children's friends called me that she has a friend, her business is not doing so well. I said, okay, I'm not a business coach, but I can talk with her. But because what she's coming for is business talk, she will pay.
Yes.
I will not talk to her free. You, my daughter's friend, I can talk to you. You have a relationship problem, I can even talk to you free. But see, because she's running a business and she's seeking business advice, she will pay for it.
Of course.
So she told the young lady, and initially, the young lady was, she chatted me up. She's from so and so. I told her my charge.
Yeah.
So when you pay, get back to me. 1 week later, I did not hear from her. 2 weeks later, I just sent a reminder. Remember that it's only when you pay we will discuss, so that you don't see my post and come and ask me question. I will not respond to you for that one. So later she paid, and then we began to talk. And just we only did 2 sessions actually. And she was like, wow. Like I said, I'm not a business coach. I'm not a business, I don't even claim to be. But some of the things that we teach in personal growth apply to your business.
Yeah.
So have a structure, have a system, have something. Don't just be doing from your head. The brain can only carry so much. Put things down. Write things down. Very, very important. Very, very key. So we can see that Tare does so much. She does a lot of things. It's not just love doctor. She's a love doctor, but that love doctor has branches.
Branches, so.
And all those branches have a system in place for it. She's not just doing it anyhow. There is a system in place for it. So find a system that works for you. You don't have to do exactly what she's doing. That's one other thing that I see we like to do. We like to copy. Because this person is doing like this. Take bits from what people are doing. She mentioned that she follows Trisha B. So do I. Because I see bits of the value that I can take from what she's doing. And I collect. Add to my own.
Yeah.
I don't have to copy exactly what she's doing. I don't have to do it exactly the way she's doing it. No, I take and I add, because her name is Trisha, my name is Ngozi, if nothing else. So we are not the same. We are not the same. So learn how to take from what people offer and add to what you have. Don't sit down and be comfortable in your ignorance, please.
Comfortable in your ignorance.
Yes, many of us are comfortable in our ignorance. We don't know and we are good with. No, don't be comfortable in your ignorance. I joined a class, and it's a HR class. And one of my mentees happened to be in that class. I didn't even know. I didn't even see her. She's the one that saw me. And she said to me, I said, "Man, what are you doing in this class? This class is way below your level." And I said, "My dear sister, you know that me, I am someone that likes to learn. And when I saw that this program is a 2-month program, there is no way in 2 months they will not say something I've not heard before."
Exactly.
There is no way. So I joined it and I've learned 1 or 2 things. I've added it to my own, box of knowledge. It's not lost. So always be ready to learn. Always be ready to grow. Always be ready to improve. Don't be comfortable in your ignorance, please. Don't be comfortable in your ignorance. We have said it before that nothing grows in the comfort zone. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So step out and do something. Just start. I think it's Nike that has that tagline, just do it. Do it first. Step out first. And just like our guests 2 weeks ago said, as you go, God makes the way clearer. He will meet you as you are going. He's not going to meet you where you're sitting.
Exactly.
God meets you as you're going, as you're moving, as you're taking the first step. He meets you there with the provisions that you need for that period. So don't be comfortable in your ignorance, please. Learn and move. Wow. In fact, thank you so much, Tare. You have told us a lot of things. I'm trying to open up my notes where I've been writing. Let me see. Yes. You mentioned prepare in advance for opportunities. Now, that is profound. How many of us truly prepare in advance for opportunities? We don't. We don't. We don't think there is a need to prepare in advance for opportunities. We believe that when the opportunity comes, then we will, yeah. But most times, by the time that opportunity comes and you're now trying to, the opportunity goes.
It goes.
It goes. Life doesn't wait for you. Nothing waits for us really. Prepare in advance. Prepare in advance. Then grow to match the responsibility. Grow to match the office. These are some things that you said that I've written down. I will form, in fact, watch, just wait. One day you will see a post and you know that it came from this. You will know that it came from this thing that you said.
Feel
Grow,
free, no problem. Thank you.
grow to match your office. Grow to, even if at the beginning. I remember one job that I had. When I took the job, there were a lot I felt I didn't know. Not because the job, not even because of the job, but because of the organization. They were operating a lot of systems that I've never heard, and I didn't know how to work within those systems. But I made up my mind that I cannot carry last though. I can't. It's not me that will be the one. Because when I got to that office, there was one young lady there, and she understood these systems. She understood these processes, this way of doing things. And because you will not be answering this person's boss, because I was employed as her boss. I can't be answering her boss, and I don't know these things. Google is your friend, though. I opened Google, began to Google those, all those terminologies, all those systems. I began to Google. I saw some free courses. I ran to, was it Coursera, Allison? I think it was Allison first. Straight, got the free courses, did them, so that I will have an idea. This will not be talking above my head. So that I have an idea. So I grew to match the office. I forget the responsibility. I didn't grow. The office is something I've been doing before, but the responsibilities that came with it had elements that I did not understand. So grow to match your responsibility. Going back to what I said, do not be comfortable in your ignorance. Can you imagine what would have happened if I didn't learn those things and I was there answering this young girl's boss, and she and my boss, both of them understood these things? They would have just been walking above my head.
Yeah.
They would have just been having discussions, making decisions over my head, and I wouldn't even know because I didn't understand. So do not be comfortable in your ignorance. Learn and learn again. Learn. If you have to unlearn some. You need to relearn some. Whatever. Just keep learning and you will keep on growing. Thank you very much once again. In fact, I'm enjoying this session. I'm enjoying myself. I'm
Thank
enjoying
you.
myself so much. So I don't know if you have any other, maybe one or two pieces of advice to give anyone that may be, wondering right now, how do I go about it? How do I start? Maybe, they're not even sure really that this is their passion. Just a word of advice, something that can help them take off.
Okay, just for me, I would even say just keep doing that thing that gives you the greatest pleasure and the greatest joy. Not as per being selfish, but the thing
Yeah.
that you do so effortlessly, and people are also blessed by it. Just keep doing it. And then, like we talked about being consistent, continue. Even when see, what my pastor always says, that the secret to his growth and to his success in ministry, in life, is consistency. Doing it when it seems to be working, and when it doesn't seem to be working, doing the right thing when it's working, and even when it doesn't seem to be working, until it begins to work. So just keep at it. Then leverage on support. You can't do life alone. Leverage on support. Check your inner circle. Check the people that you hang out with. One of the things that have also helped me is what we call, I think God is part of it, the sisterhood. The fact that we have a place where we can come to draw strength and where we can unwind, where we can share stuff that we know would never go beyond the room. So you need people like that. Then you have then that kind of circle also where people are doing stuff, and it's not a matter of being jealous or envious, but it's challenging you to also wake up. So
Yeah.
surround yourself with like minds, with people like what Napoleon Hill calls the mastermind group in his book Think and Grow Rich, the mastermind group. So you need to have your own mastermind. People who leave the WhatsApp of gossip and go to the WhatsApp
Yeah.
of growth.
Yeah.
Leave the WhatsApp of gossip and competition, unholy competition and rivalry, and go to the WhatsApp of growth and impact. People who have the same kind of mindset as you do.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say for now.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. We are told to, check the 5 people who are closest to you. Honestly, when I first did that assessment of my group, I saw that Ngozi, you're not going anywhere. You're just going backwards. Looking at the 5 people closer, I was like, no, 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 no. And I didn't just drop the people and, begin to cause problem. That's another thing. Because sometimes we don't know how to let people go out of our
Disengage. Yes,
circle.
all
Yeah.
right.
And yes, just quietly. We are still friends. In fact, I'm sure that some of them still think that they're in my inner circle. I'm sure. They don't know that quietly, without causing any rancor, I've changed my circle. We still talk, we still relate. I know the kind of things I still do with those group of people.
Yeah.
I know the kind of things. And I know the things I do with my sisterhood. So it's not, we really truly need to sit. I think, was it 2 weeks ago I mentioned, we need to tell ourselves the truth. We are not good at telling ourselves the honest truth. We are not. Most of us, we like to deceive ourselves. And I don't know how that is even possible, but we like to attempt to deceive ourselves. But it is so important that you sit yourself down. Look yourself in the eye. What I used to do is I would go to the mirror so that I'm seeing myself when I'm telling myself this truth. I stand in the mirror and I tell myself the truth. I say, Ngozi, see you, the way you're going, these people, they won't take you where you need to go. I tell myself the honest truth. And then I put a plan in place. She said, put a plan in place. Plan how you're going to change your circle if you need to. Change the people around you without causing rancor, remember, so that you don't make enemies in the process of growing.
Exactly.
We don't need to make enemies. We just need to grow. And those people, some of them will know that you have grown beyond. All of them will know you've grown beyond them. But they will also be happy that even though you have grown beyond them, you did not drop them by the wayside.
That's true.
Yeah, so your circle is very important. Check the people who surround you. Have people who have got your back. Then see, I grew up, I'm the only daughter in my father's house. So I've always had men around me. My cousins, my age, are all men. There's no girl in our family that's my age. None. They are either younger than me or far older. So I've always had male companionship. I found it difficult to have female friends. I couldn't deal. I couldn't relate with women. But there came a time in my life I needed, because there are some things you can't discuss with men now. There are just some things you cannot discuss with men. It's not even possible. How do I start making female friends? I found out that women talk a lot and I don't. My own is natural. I just don't. So that was the first stumbling block. How do I relate with people who talk a lot and I don't? But because I knew I needed to have some female friends around me, I began to, look around. Who would even understand where I am, who I am? what I am saying. And I started gravitating towards those people. Before you know it, I was able to have even a very small circle. Aside from the sisterhood, and I never even reached when I got into the sisterhood. This is even before ever I came in contact with Pastor Favor and with all these my beautiful sisters. A couple of them, I've seen them on this on this live session today. Before ever I met them, I had to form a very small group because I'm not a talking person. I couldn't have a large group of friends. It wouldn't even work. Not gel. I had to find that small group of people who have my back. Very important for me. People
Yeah.
who understand this is Ngozi. This is just her. So find that group and hold them tight. By the time I found the sisterhood, if you like, even if all of them quarrel me tomorrow, I'm not letting any of them go. Doesn't even, if they like, even if all of them join together now and quarrel me, no work. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going nowhere. So find a group of women if you're a woman, or men if you're a man, that one, have your back. Two, she said you have a safe place where you know that anything you say there stays there, doesn't step out of that place. Very important. Very important. And people who are also doing things, they are not just there. No, everybody's doing something. And by the time you see that everybody's doing something, you self, you would be ginger to do something. There is no competition. We're not going to come and say, so this person, no, it doesn't exist. If I come out and say, I wrote a book, everybody will pre-order my book by force. By force.
By force. Yes, now by force.
By force. So, yes, we support ourselves. There is no competition there.
Yes,
It doesn't exist. Find you a group like that and be there and grow there. Chai,
okay.
I don't know, there's so much more to say, but thank you so much, Tare, for joining me this afternoon. I've
Yeah.
had a ball in this
Thank you
session.
for
I've thoroughly,
having me.
thoroughly enjoyed myself in
Thank
this session. Thank you for
thank you.
joining us, and thank you everyone that joined this afternoon. I see so many people. Peace, Michael. Okay, let me scroll a little and see if I can get all the names. Okay, Margaret Obonna, Favor Chibu, Josephine Obinna.
Josephine,
In
yeah.
fact, so many people.
Krista
Chase to Homer,
Bell,
Chris.
Love it.
Oh my goodness. So many people here. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Remember to follow on all our social media handles. Growth Habits with Ngozi is the same everywhere. Facebook is Growth Habits with Ngozi, except you're following my personal page, which is my name. Instagram, Growth Habits with Ngozi. TikTok, Growth Habits with Ngozi. YouTube, Growth Habits with Ngozi. Follow us on all our social media handles, and remember to make each and every day count. Be valuable everywhere you are and continue to grow. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you,
See you
ma'am.
next Tuesday when I bring another guest to share her growth chronicles
Thank
and
you.
her journey of growth. Thank you so much, and see you
Thank
next
you,
week
Auntie.
Tuesday, 12 noon,
Bye.
right here on
Bye.
Facebook.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.